Well, the easy answer to this is you're probably an adult now. The world is no longer full of mystery and intrigue. And as a matter of fact, you're probably in a job you don't really like. More than likely, you struggle to pay bills. And that stress bleeds into every other aspect of your life. Your relationships, physical, mental, and spiritual health. And even your hobbies, including video games. Depressed yet? Well, whether you said yes or no, welcome back to the Heavy Hat. Let's get to it. Hey, you remember that last amazing game you just played that was different than any other game you'd ever played before? Yeah, me neither. Well, understandably, the video game industry is a business, and as someone that works in a corporate role myself, at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is profit. Sorry, if you really think that your favorite video game company only cares about putting smiles on children's faces as they load up their brand new game, well, you're wrong. It's not to say that there aren't developers out there that don't have that as their passion. As a matter of fact, I've worked with and known several developers and engineers myself who really just work because they enjoy the creative process and couldn't really care about the profit margins at the end of the day. But ultimately, to have a functioning company, that company needs to make money. And how do you make money? Well, one way is to try and replicate the success of things that already exist. Hey, if it worked for them, it'll work for us, right? Isn't this basically plagiarism? Listen, new kid, I don't care about your fancy schmancy words. I only care about putting forth the least amount of effort possible with the biggest return on investment we can squeeze out. Now, if you don't understand what I just said, that's okay, I'll explain. While I presented that as a joke, one of the main goals of any business is to keep expenses as low as possible, while generating the most revenue as possible. It's called return on investment. To put it simply, why would you put forth 100% of your effort to make $20 when putting forth 50% of your effort makes you $19? Now do you see what I mean? Most companies can put out a product, cut corners, and take shortcuts to save outgoing cash flow and still get people to buy it. For example, take a game like FIFA. Do you really think EA went back to the drawing board every single year to create a new and amazing experience for their player?
But there's 4 new moves in this version I just repaid $70 for.
Wow, they really invented the wheel on that one, didn't they? Another great example of this is The Sims. Now, I love The Sims. It can be hysterical. One of my first videos I ever made on this channel was actually The Sims.
This poor man. You know what? This dude's gonna be weird, but he's gonna be a ripped weird. Alright, ladies, you can't tell me this is not just the epitome of testosterone here. Looking like we need to, That's what I'm talking about.
But there's no denying it. They've been reselling the same exact game, and even most of the same expansions, for over 20 years. And why, you might ask?
Money!
But every once in a while you get a game that completely breaks the mold and captivates you because it's something you've never seen before. Honestly, the one off the top of my head right now is Alan Wake. If you haven't ever played that game before, it's phenomenal. It's a hell of a mind trip too. I loved every second of that game because realistically, it was different. But when we subconsciously realize we're technically playing the same thing over and over and over again, you eventually get bored. Now, you've probably heard this phrase before, and chances are you probably thought it was a little corny, but it's still true. Think of the last thing you set a goal for and worked really hard towards. Were you really happy when you hit that goal? Yeah? Well, how long did that happiness last before you realized, oh, I guess this means I need to move the bar higher now? Let me explain this entire point with a 10-second World of Warcraft clip. Yes!
72 hours later.
Yay. One of the reasons people end up legitimately getting addicted to video games is because you rapidly achieve goals the entire time, while in real life, you're probably struggling just to get out of bed and get to work on time. In real life, we don't ever hit these milestones this quick. According to PhD Lawrence Sanders, gaming can be traced throughout human history as a way to help people relax and retreat from daily routines. But the booming popularity of online games has led to an increase in addiction, which can result in players ignoring family and job responsibilities, and severe cases can lead players to crime, health problems, or even death. This is going to be a small side note of mine. If you're watching this video right now, and have ever had thoughts of suicide or of taking your own life, don't. I get it, your life is probably excruciatingly painful right now. I understand that. But do you know the only thing that'll really happen if you take your own life? You only make every single person around you that cares about you feel the same exact way that you do right now. So don't push off those crushing feelings and make them bear it for the rest of their lives. Go get help. It's okay. But too often in games or in real life, we set ourselves into the mindset that I'll be happy when I achieve this. For example, I told myself throughout my life, I'll be happy when I graduated college. Check. I'll be happy when I get married. Also check. I'll be happy when I have a successful career. Check. I'll be happy when I buy a house. Well, check. You know what happens every time I hit one of those goals? I say, okay. Now what do I do to be happy? It wasn't until lately that I realized, hey, the actual achievement of these goals happens in an instant. But the journey of watching yourself get closer each day can show you years of improvement and success. So when we all too quickly blow through achievement after achievement in video games and that dopamine slowly starts to fall off, you realize, yeah, you've accomplished about 100 video game goals, but you probably didn't enjoy a moment of it because the entire time you thought you'd finally start enjoying the game after you got the legendary item. Besides, when you're so used to the rapid succession of achievement after achievement, real life starts to get really dull. Think of the last time you played a video game for 8, 10, 12 hours straight. Was it a new expansion for a game that you liked? Was it a game you've been waiting for years to come out? Or maybe you just decided to disconnect from reality over the weekend because you're tired of life's problems. Whatever the reason was, binging anything will almost always leave you with feelings of regret. And according to psychology, binging media can cause a higher risk for anxiety, depression, back problems, and even respiratory issues. Now the last two are simply related to the fact that you're not really active when you're playing video games. Side note, I'm a clinical exercise physiologist. 0 out of 10, don't recommend, by the way. But I bring that up because sitting all day is literally one of the worst things you can possibly do for your body. Besides meth, I guess. Don't do that. So if you spend the majority of your life sitting, it's literally shortening your life and ruining the quality of your life. So if you do binge watch shows or binge watch games, take a break every once in a while, stand up and move around. There's a reason Netflix asks you if you're still watching. It's not to insult you. Or heck, if you're watching this right now, stand up for the rest of this video. I just had a weird mental image of 1,000 of you sitting on the toilet while watching this. Please don't stand up. Unless you're done. Leave a comment if you're watching this on the toilet. Was it a floater, a sinker, Sorry. But binging anything, including video games, can cause you to avoid others to continue the binge, cause you to self-isolate, push off other responsibilities, and in turn potentially give you anxiety, depression, and ultimately cause you to resent the thing that caused all of it. The game you binged. What I'm getting at is there's a healthy balance that needs to be met. It's going to be different for everyone. But far too often as gamers, we fall into the binge and purge mentality. It's honestly usually associated with bulimia patients. Well, final question. How do you make games fun again? Well, if anything in this video struck true or resonated with you to some degree, this is how you make games fun again. Take a break. Seriously, that's it. I also don't mean 5 minutes, I don't mean 5 days. I mean like 5 weeks or 5 months. Go outside, take a different hobby. Hell, exercise. Not only does exercise release some of the same happy juices in the brain that you get from playing video games, you also get the benefit of feeling in shape. But taking an extended break from video games will do one or two things for you. Either A, cause your brain to be able to release more dopamine again to achieve things in games, or B, you realize that maybe you've just grown older and your interests have changed. And if that's the case, that's okay. I've had these 2 guitars behind me for a long time. I've had this one since 2006 when I graduated. I guess that also tells you how old I am. But for a long time I was in a band and I really thought I was going to be a famous rock star. And then I realized it just wasn't fun anymore and I took a break. And honestly, I still love playing guitar, but I do it maybe once a month now. But whatever the case is, a break from something you've drowned hundreds of hours into might be the best way to make you enjoy it again. Or at the very least, enjoy life a little bit more. I hope this video was insightful and I hope you genuinely liked it. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I truly do appreciate every single one of you and, as always, have fun.
Did you pour rubbing alcohol into this? What? Wait, what?